Hello and welcome to the XP Log, the daily-ish podcast about my gaming journey. My name is Justin. So I was going to skip today, but some really interesting things happened in Dragon Quest last night, and I would like to talk about them. It's also kind of funny because yesterday's XP Log, I talked about doing other characters' side missions to learn more about them. And I guess I had forgotten that this happens in this game. So you go through, at least a few of them I did last night. You go through the your party members, you control them and you learn what happened to them after the fall of Yggdrasil, right? So first you start with Sylv, right? And Sylv's down in the dumps, which is kind of opposite of his personality, right? He's down in the dumps. He's down on himself and stuff, and he's really feeling the hopelessness. Well, what he decides to do with that is to be the jester and make everybody else happy. Right? That's how he's going to deal with it. He's going to show everybody that there is still something to be happy about and to look forward to in this broken world. Right? And I think that's a very important lesson in real life, and it took me by surprise, right? And then I realized when I got to Jade that kind of all of these stories have a real life impact, right? They're all real life lessons you can learn and you can actually take from them. So next you go to Jade, and she's in Octagonia, and she's looking for the luminary just like, everybody else is. And Octagonia is run over by monsters, and all of those fighters, all those proud fighters, have lost all their hope. They've all given up. They are slaves to Booga, right? They've all given up. And then Jade shows up, and she's still full of fire. So then she gets in trouble with Booga, and she gets sent to a really bad fight, basically. It's worse than the normal. The monsters make the fighters fight for entertainment or whatever, and it's brutal, and they don't get any breaks and stuff like that. Well, this one's supposed to be worse, right? And Jade shows her perseverance and her hope in her character. She holds on, and she keeps fighting and fighting and fighting and fighting. And then she wins that fight, and that's supposed to mean that she gets to leave. I glossed over a little bit. She gets sent to Boudica's realm or whatever because she defied Booga. Sorry. It's a stream of consciousness podcast, okay? So she gets sent there, and she's supposed to be able to leave because she beat what's called the Girly Burly. It's supposed to be, it's more of a punishment than a challenge, right? But she wins, and then Boudica comes out, and she's like, "No, bump that." So then Vince, and Golden Boy, and so some of the other fighters from the tournament come to her aid, and she inspires them to get their hope back, and they find a reason to fight. For Vince, it's the orphans, right? So not only did she never lose hope, she also inspired others to fight as well and to regain their hope that they had lost. And that's very important. That's a very good lesson for real life as well. So then we move on to Erik. And Erik's in jail again. Go figure. But there's his is more of a story, but there's also a little tidbit in there about sacrifice and hard choices, right? So he's in prison, and this slime named Elijah helps him escape, and he gets to basically the summit of this floating island he's trapped on, and is surrounded by enemies. And apparently there's some mystery with Elijah and stuff like that. Some history that they don't tell you yet. And I don't remember if I ever knew or not, but I'll find out later. And Elijah says, I can give you the power to save yourself. However, you will lose all memories of your friends, basically. And this is like an impossible decision, right? Like, how do you do that, or you die, or you try to find a way to run yourself, basically, right? That's a very difficult choice. And Erik chooses to get the power to defeat his enemies or whatever, and then it shows him forgetting his friends, right? So then, after Erik, we get to the luminary, and the luminary's a fish. That's it. Now, I'm kidding. He does start off as a fish, which was strange to me. I guess the queen said to disguise him so nobody would tell anybody that the luminary's, like, no spies would tell anybody that the luminary's alive. So he hears about this hero that's been helping people and founded a camp called the Last Bastion. And it's actually in cobblestone, right? So he goes there, and the hero is Hendrik, and King Cornelian's there. Cornelian? I think it's Cornelian. The king of Heliodor is there. And the king of Heliodor has come to his senses finally. Apparently, he has been overtaken for years, right? And after the fall, I guess is what I'll call it, he's come to his senses. And I think the Luminaries is about trust, trust and forgiveness, I guess, right? And humility. So here's how I see that, right? You have to trust and forgive the king. You know, the luminary has to do that. But also, the hero that is protecting the Last Bastion is Hendrik. And both Hendrik and the luminary have to learn to trust, forgive each other, and have some humility, especially on Hendrik's part, where, okay, that's my bad. I understand that. Now let's work together. Right? And that's where I left off last night. And I kind of couldn't wait to do this show this morning, because these are very real lessons that this game just throws at you immediately after the fall, which is a big pivotal moment in the story, obviously. And that's interesting upon itself. But I found the follow-up extremely interesting. I skipped over Rab. I'm sorry. Rab's scenario is he's gone to train with Grandmaster Pang, and he's basically in a Christmas Carol. Is it a Christmas Carol? The Grinch. Not Grinch. Fool. Why can't I think of the name? Anyways, Scrooge. Like Scrooge. And he's having, like Ghosts of Christmas Past. He's kind of having that thing where he gets glimpses of his old kingdom and his daughter and his son-in-law and his grandson, the luminary, and what could have happened. And he's being tempted to stay there or to go back to reality and, fight the darkness, basically. And he does that. He chooses to give up the illusion and face reality, right? So that was another important lesson. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to almost skip that, but that's the nature of it, baby. But yeah, so my question is, did these lessons in this game take you by surprise? Did you notice them? Have you found any other nuggets of wisdom from video game stories or anything like that? That maybe even wasn't directly trying to teach you something, but it did anyways, right? I'd love to know in the comments. Please leave them in there. With that, I hope everybody has a great rest of your day, and I'll see you tomorrow. Peace out.